Well. What we gonna talk about? Like for real ski, for real. I should put my mic out so I can get a real crisp audio. And just cause I can, let me go ahead and go do it. Alright, that took way longer than it have to, but alright, so boom. So I told y'all that we're gonna talk about things that I learned by the time I turned 21 and that really helped me get to where I am, or things that I just simply learned that I could probably put me in a better predicament now. And I broke them down into emotional tips, spiritual, and financial tips that helped me. This is going to be a 3-part video, so in this video we will be addressing the emotional aspect. Step 1 is it's okay to put you first. And I say that because like a lot of times we tend to learn to love others before we learn ourselves. And the saying is like, love others as thou love thyself. And a lot of times I felt that even as children, you know, it's like, oh, sharing is caring. Like we're always taught to like constantly give a part of ourselves away, but we're never taught what steps we can do to show that we care for ourselves. So the best thing that you could do is really learn how to put yourself first and not feel bad about it. Because how could you help others if you're not able to help yourself, if you get what I'm saying in that sense? And I feel like if you learn that a little earlier, it'll cost you less in the long run because it changed the direction and dynamics of friendships, relationships, how I did my schoolwork, just everything was a lot harder because I ended up being more people pleasing than I had to, thinking that I had to treat others better than I was treating myself, opposed to learn to love others as I love myself. Learn how to love yourself, and then you can eventually spread that love into, you know what I'm saying, another area of your life, or better yet, someone else. I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I'm kind of nervous. Like, I've been avoiding doing these videos for a minute, but you know, like enough is enough. And I actually just wrote it down in my journal, so you might see me like look down at it every now and then. The second thing that I learned, that peace is created, not found. You create your peace. Like, you're not gonna walk down the street and find peace on the ground and all of a sudden you feel happy. And also, let's not confuse peace with happiness. Like, happiness is a feeling, peace is a state of mind. Like, remember that. So when I say peace is created, it's learning to find that, I don't even know what word that you would use to describe peace, because peace is a God-given thing, but finding things that bring solace to your spirit. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, you have to hit this goal or do this and do that, but just simply like learn to appreciate the finer things, like not the finer, godly. Learn to appreciate those smaller things in life. Like, I'm at peace knowing that I might not be living the dream life that I want to live just yet or right now in this moment, but I have peace every morning knowing that I get to wake up and try again, like every single day. Every day is literally something that you cannot put a price tag on because you have the opportunity to change your reality. I find peace in that. Ooh. Oh, Lord, let me turn my ringer off, y'all. It's to whip yourself in shape, but don't beat yourself up. And this is something that I really, really had to get a grip on because I'm still working on it to this day. I'm very hard on myself. I feel like I know what I can do, why I want to do it, and I give myself very little grace at times. But it's also something to learn how to grind and do what you do and keep yourself in order and hold yourself accountable and yet still give yourself grace. Because, like, for example, I got on the phone with my sister yesterday, actually. And we were on the phone, and I was like, yeah, man, like, I slept in till, like, 9 o'clock, bruh. And I feel horrible at the fact that I did, you know. And keep in mind, I just had COVID, and I was still kind of, like, shaking it off before prior to this conversation. And I was like, yeah, man, I slept in, bruh. Like, I cleaned the house up and stuff, but I ain't just, you know, like, I could have did better. And now I'm so disappointed within myself. And my sister was like, girl, you literally had COVID and was still editing YouTube videos. Like, you were feeling sick and you still did this and did that. And you had opportunity to lay down and sleep in. Like, give yourself some grace. Like, you knew that you weren't gonna wake up early. Like, be realistic with yourself. And I was like, okay, true. But some days, I was like, okay, you shouldn't have slipped in. But in just simplest of terms, like that, for instance, I completely negated the fact that I accomplished something that I still wanted to accomplish despite me not feeling well. And when I say COVID tore me up, COVID tore me up, bro. But I really just, like, I just couldn't give myself grace in that moment. It took for someone else to, like, bring it to the forefront and be like, you did this, like, it's okay to do that. Do with that what you may. 4, now this is something that I battled my entire life. And I would say embrace what makes you different. That is what aligns you with your purpose. And a lot of times I feel like we get caught up in, especially in today's day and age, with social media and like looking cool and fitting the part and having an aesthetic and trying to like find your group or find your circle. Like, you might just be different enough that you create your own group and everyone else follows. There's nothing wrong with being different. Like, being different is what, again, aligns with your purpose, but really it's your star power. And I had a very hard time, like, even within being college, like, I could not for the life of me figure out, like, what friend group I belonged to. Like, I was always the oddball, no matter, like, where I hopped to, I was always the oddball. Because sometimes, like, that group was just a little too nerdy. This group was a little too ghetto. This group didn't do this or do that. But then I was too ghetto to hang out with these girls. And then mindset things like not understanding where I came from and how I had to get to where I was going. Then the maturity gap. So it was very hard for me to figure out, like, dang, where do I fit in? But sometimes, like, I was like, dang, I'm just not meant to fit in. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Like, nothing is wrong with being different. And a lot of times I really had to just sit there and look at it from a third person perspective and be like, there's nothing wrong with me. It's just I had to learn how to embrace who I am. And even now, like, making this video is something that I feel is helping me embrace who I am, because I've been through a lot throughout my lifetime, but I've also learned a lot within that process. Is it 6? So 6 is make sure you can provide what you're asking for. You provide what you're asking for. For whom much is asked, much is given. I think I said that right. If I didn't, you said, like, once my brother, he corrected me.
Whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, whom much is given, much is required. And so, like, with that it's the same thing. Like, wherever you are asked, dang, I keep losing my train of thought, y'all. Shoot, hold on, wait a minute now. So I say that in terms of, like, everything within this lifetime world, what you want to call it. That can be relationships, that can be your job, that could be your friendships, that could be the outcomes you're wanting. Like, whatever you put into this world, you're going to get it back. So if you put very little into this world, you're only going to get very little back. Sometimes you might look up and get a little more than what you bargained for, but it's all give and take. So in that simplest of term, for instance, with relationships, I can't expect for me to have a man who I deem as whole or is my type and stuff like this, and I'm not what I deem as a whole woman or the type of woman that I feel like this man would need. I can't be the friend who always has everyone showing up for them, or like they go out their way and I just have like the best friends in the world and I'm not reciprocating that energy. It's all about reciprocity. So you have to learn how to be able to give what you are asking for in the same token. So that just also helps you not be so entitled as you go through the world, as you go through this world. It takes out that sense of entitlement. Ooh, 7. Now, this is me talking to 16-year-old me, teenager me. There is always something to be grateful for. Always. No matter how you flip the coin, no matter how you flip the patty, it's always something to be grateful for. The grass is not always greener on the other side, honestly. And when I learned that there's always a positive, it's all about perspective and perception. And it's the little things that we take for granted. I might not have liked my childhood or my upbringing as much as some other people may have, but me growing up fast taught me how to have responsibility, how to handle and perform under pressure, how to make critical decisions, how to just simply take care of myself. Because now that I'm 22, like, I noticed that a lot of my friends, a lot of this stuff is new to them, but I've been paying bills, I've been cooking for myself, I've been scheduling my own doctor's appointments. I've been doing all this since I was 17 years old. Shoot, 16 really. And it's like, dang, like, this is new to them. And back then, like, I complained, I was like, bro, I ain't have time, child, and then you do this or do that. But in that same token, it's like, dang, if I didn't go through what I went through then, like, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for that instance. And then simply just having, like, all 5 senses. Next time you are finding yourself complaining or not liking the predicament you are in within life, just always remember, like, there's a lot to be grateful for in this moment still. My last tip, as far as, like, emotional, tips go, I would say it's not that you want to be successful, it's that you want to be fulfilled. By definition, success is basically doing what you say you're going to do. So if I say I'm going to wash the dishes in the morning and I turn around and I wash the dishes in the morning, I'm a successful person. So yeah, I just wanted to hop in right here and interrupt myself. But when I say, like, success, like, you don't desire success, you desire that fulfillment. Success is, again, achieving that predetermined outcome or, like, what it is that you want to do. And once you've done it, it's done. However, if it doesn't give you a sense of fulfillment, like that sense that life is just meaningful, then success is not really success, if you get what I'm saying. Like, you successfully got that outcome that you wanted. However, if there wasn't meaning. So that's when a lot of people start chasing for more and wanting more. And deep down in your soul, it's still a sense of emptiness because you're not searching for something that's actually fulfilling you. You're truly yearning. You are truly yearning for something that's going to make you feel fulfilled. You want to successfully do something that ends up making you feel fulfilled. Success is just the act. Fulfillment is the condition in which you met that makes you feel a certain way. Because like you always hear people say, oh, the money, I got the money, the cars, the hoes, and I still feel empty on the inside. You can still feel empty on the inside even if you successfully finish the task. But once you start reaching a condition in which you deemed like a fulfillment, that's when you're really just like, okay, this is the feeling that I've been yearning for. This is what I wanted. So you have to see what fulfills you, not what success is. Because a lot of times, again, like, success is just the act of doing something, but fulfillment is fulfilling those conditions. But that's all I have for my emotional tips. So we're going to go ahead and roll into our You think it's cool? Because I think this is kind of cool, to be honest with you. Comb my hair. It's that good hair. I don't know what I had got in my hair earlier today, but don't do too much. You know what I'm saying?